Chris's television career took off in the same year as Why Bother was broadcast. The Day-to-Day was followed by the famously controversial Brass Eye. It was around this time that he contemplated a return to radio. Matthew Bannister again.
I was walking through Soho on my way to a lunch, and I met him in the street, and I said, "Oh, I haven't seen you for a bit. What are you up to?" And he said, "Well, I'm creating a programme that is like the nightmares you experience when you fall asleep listening to the BBC World Service at night." And I thought, well, that sounds really good. I said, well, I'd really like to hear that, Chris, because I think that's something that we should have on Radio 1. And so, to a certain extent, I was prepared. To a certain extent, I knew it would be out of left field, and I knew it would be strange. But I don't think I was prepared for... I mean, the feeling I had when I first listened to it was one of sheer exhilaration, because it was like somebody's created something new in radio. And I know that sounds like a banal thing to say, but people don't create things new in radio, hardly at all ever.
David Quantick agrees.
They're dreamlike, which is what I love about them. It's like, and that whole intro to Blue Jam, Welcome to Jam, it is basically, you know what it is? It's in the night garden in hell. It's a lovely setup. And as we drift off, with Chris's bizarre, baroque, Swiftian language, as we drift off into this world, welcome in Jam. It's terrifying. And then you're in this nightmare, there's no escape, and there's a bit of music, and then Kevin Eldon comes out, and then it's all gone off. It's like a beautiful drug nightmare where you wake up and you've got your limbs, but you haven't got your torso, and how does that work?
When he script for coins and fingers freckle gash in pocket, money slish up floor and all in queue observey as a worm. When he chew so fret as if to form solid thought from frown, then pause and shocked behold he thumb chomped off. And when oo tiptoe down to Hagu bomb in cellar and rocket willing boom disinti, then sudden light and people laughing. Look, she humping bomb, we shooting viddy, send into freak show. Then welcome. Sub, welcome in Blue Jam, Blue Jam, Blue Jam, Blue Jam,
My name's Patricia Mattle. I think that brushing your teeth correctly is extremely important. I brush my teeth 3 times a day. I always use a firm brush. And brush very hard in all directions. After a while, my gums start to bleed. And I basically keep on brushing as hard as I can. Until eventually I faint. It takes about 25 minutes at night time. But in the morning it can take up to 2 hours. I really am very impressed.
Thank you.
I think it's the best annual report I've ever given anybody.
Thanks very much.
Your record has been consistently first class for 5 years.
Well...
Amazing.
Thanks. I don't suppose...
You do know that I'm going to have to fire you. I couldn't bear to watch you go off the boil.
Fire.
It would be too painful.
Well, I could do better.
But what if you didn't?
Well,
It would be unbearable. It would be, I don't know, like getting cancer in your best organ. I'm sorry, Gavin. You'll have to clear your desk by the end of tomorrow.
Well,
I'm really sorry. You know, this is really upsetting for me.
For you?
Of course.
Will you give me references?
Sorry.
What?
I'm gonna have to give you really shit ones. I don't want anyone else having you, do I?
Jesus.
It's horrible, I know. It's fucking awful, but,
What am I going to do?
move away somewhere. Miles away.
For God's sake.
Look, I'm already sacking you. Don't force me to hound you out of your house with bricks and men.
Well, I just don't know what to say.
Just go. I'll treasure these, Gavin.
Unbelievable.
They'll be a paradigm to new recruits. I'm going to read them again and again and shake my head about all this.
He's very British. His obsessions are very British. Suburbia, doctors. If you look at Blue Jam, there's hundreds of doctor sketches. It couldn't be more traditional. It's just that the doctor involved is a sick pervert. And I think it's Chris looking at what we think is sick, what we think is taboo, questioning, if you like, what we think is taboo, but not doing it in a boring way. Doing it with a very light, surreal, light and dark at the same time, like a faulty torch.
Right, Paul Meek.
Yeah.
So what can I do for you?
Well, I've done all these muscles under my arm here. Lifted a crate awkwardly.
Yes.
So it was all right till this morning. I woke up and just can't move this shoulder at all now.
Right, it's just round here, is it?
Yeah.
I see. Right, well, what I think I'm going to do with this is I'm going to do it over the phone. Okay. Just stay there while I go next door. I'll ring through and you pick up the phone. Okay?
All right.
Right, I'll speak to you in a minute. Paul, right, now tell me exactly where the pain is. But could you just hang on a moment? Look, could you keep your voice down? Because I can hear you through the door. There's no point in my doing this over the phone if I can hear you through the door, is there?
Right, yeah.
Okay, just keep your voice down.
Yeah.
All right. So, when did this happen? Oh, look, sorry, this isn't a very good line. Why don't you call me back? Yeah, it's 302. Thanks. Hello, Barnt Green Health Centre. Sorry, who is this? Paul Meek. Well, I can't see you now. I'm with a patient. Look, is this an emergency? Well, then come in on Thursday morning. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Look, could you hang on a minute? I'm on the phone.
Yeah, but I was
Hello?
just wondering if it would be easier.
Hello? Yeah, could you just wait outside? Hello? Oh, silly bugger's run off. Hello? Oh, there you are. Right, 10 o'clock on Thursday, okay? Good. Okay, well, I'll see you then. And can you go through the reception next time? I'm not the secretary. Righto, bye-bye. Right, so what's the story?
I have to come back Thursday.
Okay, then I'll see you then.
I was just wondering if you could just give
About
me
10 o'clock.
Right.
Yes?
nothing.
Sunday morning, I'm waking up. Can't even focus on a coffee cup. Don't even know whose bed I'm in. Where do I start?
Sally Phillips, Amelia Bullmore, David Cann, Kevin Eldon and Mark Heap featured in some of those Blue Jam sketches there. Another big feature of Blue Jam were Chris's monologues. He'd started doing a similar thing at GLR with the help of Robert Katz, a columnist Chris met through his partner Joe Unwin.
Robert Katz alleges that Chris edited out every intra-vocal breath. So there's just these silences. So instead of sort of... And then the next line, coming up to the punchline, there's just these very strange, dark things. I'm going out on GLR. And Robert Katz talks about him coming in, editing all night, coming in the next day with blood over his fingers. Not because he's been doing some... Because we should probably say at this point that back in those dark days, you didn't have computers. You didn't just click a mouse. You sat there with a razor blade. You cut up bits of tape. Probably, there's maybe many people who probably don't know that now. And then you splice them back together again. So that's what he was doing to such dense shapes that if he did do something that was slightly controversial, you either had to put it out or you had to pull it, and that's what he presented producers with. So it's quite startling kind of primeval image there. I don't know, that sounds quite likely though.
The composer Adrian Sutton, who produced the idents and some of the Blue Jam score, remembers Chris's attention to detail when it came to those monologues.
He was sitting there with his head buried in his hands, constantly revising, pen poised above the paper, crossing this out, crossing that out, or he'd do it on his laptop or whatever. And I think it's a fascinating feature of the text generally in those monologues is just how sort of dense and concise they are, and how they have maximum punch per word almost. It's like a kind of poetry, really. And he did obsess over them